You'll never be 100% sure if an AI answer is actually correct. Why are we afraid of AI's potential? What exactly is AI? What's it for? And how can we dial up or tone down its creativity? And which model should you even pick? I'm Chris, and in this video we are going to clear that up. Sometimes we don't really use certain tools the right way, like asking them to pick a random number from 1 to 50, mostly because we don't even know what they actually are. And hey, if you ever make a lottery with big prizes based on asking an LLM for a random pick, you have got to let me know. Let's start with a simple task. The program gets 0, it outputs 0. It gets anything else, it spits out 1. Easy as it gets. It's time for an epic showdown the world has never seen before. In the first corner, Gemini 2.5, trained, tuned, and ready to write you a whole essay on the metaphysics of potatoes. In the second corner, GPT-5, the beast that has read more books than your grandma has jars of pickles in her cellar. In the third corner, Grok 4, the one ready to convince you in half a nanosecond why we should colonize Mars. And finally, the last corner, my humble contender, with code as clean as a tear, my own little program. Here we go, right out of the gate. The opponents aren't holding back. Early rounds. But wait, what's just happened? One tricky question and Gemini and GPT are down for the count. Grok takes a heavy hit but somehow stays on his feet. Another blow, Grok's out too. So is the winner ready? A single line of code looped in Python that I hacked together during a coffee break. Looks like it. Don't forget to comment, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Single line of code just crashed AI systems worth billions of dollars. To see why these models failed such a trivial task yet are still revolutionary, we've got a peek under the hood. Let's try another problem. Telling max apart from plates based on height and diameter. A classic program could do this with a simple rule. For example, if the height to diameter ratio is greater than 1, it's a mag. Otherwise, plate. Plain old if statement that always behaves the same way. Now let's approach the AI way. We'll use the simplest model, the Perceptron, basically a single artificial neuron, a concept dating back to 1957. Here's how it works. The neuron takes in inputs, height and diameter, multiplies them by certain weights, adds a bias value, and spits out a result. If the result is positive, that's mag. Negative, plate. At first, the neuron knows nothing. We have to teach it by showing lots of examples. Every time it's wrong, it tweaks its weights and bias to do better next time. After enough training, it draws a decision boundary, a line separating mags from plates. Simple enough with one neuron. But what happens when you connect millions or even billions of neurons together, like in GPT? Now the weights and biases from a structure are so complex we can't really interpret what each one means. The model learns patterns we don't even notice. That completely is where its power comes from, but also its unpredictability. Because it's fundamentally probabilistic. That's what worries us. The unpredictability, the loss of control, the possibility of critical mistake at the worst possible moment. For simple, deterministic problems that can be solved with an algorithm, a classic program will always be better. It's like a calculator. Precise, reliable, boring. So why is AI still a revolution? Try this on. What's the difference between a plate and a ball? Saying depth and shape is true, but it's fuzzy. Where exactly is the line between the deep plate and a shallow ball? That gray area is where neural networks excel. Just like teaching a child by pointing, this is a ball and this is a plate. AI learns from examples, not strict rules. That's its superpower. Handling ambiguity, understanding images, processing natural language, generating content. When we stack neurons into layers, the output of one layer becomes the input for the next. The deeper the network, the more complex patterns it can capture, through sometimes at the cost of precision. Using a massive language model for a simple math task is like driving a bulldozer to hammer a nail. Sure, it can work, but it's expensive and ridiculous. Sometimes you just need a hammer. That's why there are so many different AI models. Big ones like GPT or Gemini are your bulldozers, made for complex, open-ended problems. But there are also smaller, specialized shovels that run on your own computer, cheaper, faster, and often more accurate for their niche. Everything depends on the problem you want to solve. Different models excel at different things: coding certain languages, computer vision, or describing images. Some even allow fine-tuning for a custom task. Others simply update their training data more frequently. Choosing the right one is about your needs and experience. Just starting out and not technical? No problem. Experiment with various LLMs first. Get a feel for how they behave and what which one is good at. Now, how do outputs get interpreted? In the max and played example, it's very easy. Positive number, mag. Negative, played. But real problems usually involve many more options, so we need a smarter way to translate raw data into something meaningful. You might have heard of functions like relu or sigmoid. They're great for shaping values inside the model. But when it comes to deciding between multiple possible classes, the real key player is Softmax. Softmax takes all those raw scores, compares them, and turns them into a clean probability distribution where everything adds up to 1. That way we can say not just which option seems best, but also how confident the model is about each choice. Models also use a parameter called temperature. Low temperature, the AI plays it safe, sticking to the most probable answer. High temperature, it gets adventurous, taking risks, picking less obvious words. Perfect for brainstorming or creative writing, but it also increases the odds of hallucinations. Some APIs lets you set temperature directly. And if not, don't worry, just tell the model in your prompt how creative or strict you want it to be. Do my videos bring value to you? Stick around for more and stay aware!